I've always been drawn to forgotten places, the kind where time stands still and secrets wait just beneath the surface. As a dedicated detectorist, I couldn't resist the pull of that old abandoned hospital on the outskirts of a quiet Midwest town, its crumbling walls whispering promises of hidden treasures. Sneaking in through a shattered window one foggy morning, my heart raced with anticipation. Breaking into such a spot felt like stepping into another era. But when my metal detector first beeped sharply in the overgrown courtyard, I knew I was onto something big. What it revealed buried under layers of dirt and debris. Let us just say it was the start of uncovers that would rewrite my understanding of medical history. Kneeling down, I carefully dug into the soft earth, my spade scraping against something metallic. Out came a set of antique surgical scissors, their blades still sharp despite the rough spots. These weren't ordinary shears. They dated back to the early 1900s, crafted from high-carbon steel by a renowned German manufacturer who supplied American hospitals during the Progressive Era. Historically, such tools revolutionized aseptic surgery, helping reduce infection rates in an age before antibiotics. Their value lies not just in rarity collectors pay thousands for, well-preserved pieces, but in how they embody the shift toward modern medicine, turning operating rooms from butcher shops into life-saving sanctuaries. Moving deeper into the shadowed hallways, my detector hummed again near a collapsed nurse's station. This time, it led me to a buried scalpel handle, engraved with faint initials that hinted at a long-lost surgeon. Scalpels like this, from the mid-20th century, were pivotal during World War II, when mass production improved precision for battlefield medics treating countless soldiers. Their historical significance? They represent the evolution of surgical steel alloys, making incisions cleaner and healing faster, which saved lives in eras of global conflict. Today, museum curators seek them out, valuing them at hundreds of dollars each for educational exhibits on medical advancements. As I ventured into what seemed like an old operating theater, the air thick with dust, another beep echoed off the peeling walls. Scraping away rubble, I unearthed a pair of vintage tweezers, their fine tips designed for delicate tissue handling. These forceps trace back to the Victorian period, when American hospitals adopted European designs to enhance microsurgery techniques. Educationally, they highlight the importance of precision instruments in preventing complications during procedures like eye surgeries. With their sterling silver construction, they hold substantial collector's value, often fetching over $500 at auctions due to their role in pioneering minimally invasive methods. Pushing further into a forgotten storage room, my detector went wild near a pile of decayed boxes. Digging revealed an intact retractor, a claw-like tool used to hold incisions open. This particular one appeared from the 1920s, a time when surgical retractors advanced with self-retaining mechanisms, allowing doctors more freedom during operations. Historically, they were key in abdominal surgeries, reducing fatigue for surgeons and improving outcomes in early cancer treatments. Their worth? Beyond the monetary appraisal of around $400, they educate on how such innovations laid the groundwork for today's robotic-assisted procedures. In the basement level, surrounded by rusted pipes and forgotten equipment, the next signal pulled me toward a damp corner. There, half buried in silt, was a surgical pinkerweight, tweezers again. But these were hemostatic forceps, meant to clamp blood vessels. Originating from the late 1800s, they were instrumental in the development of vascular surgery, helping control bleeding in an era without blood banks. Their historical emphasis? They underscore the fight against hemorrhage, a leading cause of surgical deaths back then, and now command prices up to $300 in antique medical markets for their educational narrative on hemostasis techniques. Climbing to an upper floor, where vines crept through cracked windows, my device beeped insistently by a fallen cabinet. Unearthing a small surgical box lined with faded velvet, I found it contained assorted clamps. These boxes were standard in 1930s hospitals, organizing tools for emergency kits during the Great Depression. Valued historically for illustrating resourcefulness in lean times, when hospitals reused sterilized instruments, they fetch $600 or more today. It's fascinating how they represent the resilience of medical staff, turning scarcity into efficient care that influenced modern emergency protocols. Deeper in the wards, amid scattered debris from long-gone beds, another alert drew me to a concealed spot under floorboards. Out came an old speculum, a device for internal examinations, crafted in brass from the turn of the century. Such tools were breakthroughs in gynecology, enabling better diagnostics during the women's health movement of the early 1900s. Their educational punch? They highlight progress in reproductive medicine, reducing risks in childbirth, and hold collector interest at $450, prized for stories of pioneering female physicians who championed their use. Winding through the labyrinth of corridors, the detector's tone shifted near an abandoned pharmacy alcove. Digging revealed a set of antique needle holders, their jaws etched with maker's marks from the 1940s. These were vital during the antibiotic revolution, allowing precise suturing in post-war reconstructions. Historically, they emphasized the integration of new drugs with surgical tech, slashing infection rates dramatically. Worth around $350, they captivate with tales of how they bridged old-school craftsmanship with emerging pharmacology, educating on the synergy that shaped contemporary healthcare. As the afternoon light began to fade through the broken skylights, I felt the pull of one final signal, stronger, deeper, and more insistent than any before. My detector screamed near the center of what must have once been the main surgical suite, right under the cracked tile floor. Heart pounding, I pried up the loose sections with trembling hands. There, nestled in a rusted metal case half buried in decades of dust and grime, was the find that stopped me cold, a complete, pristine set of early 20th century neurosurgical instruments, still wrapped in faded sterile cloth. The kit included a delicate trephine drill, specialized bone rongeurs, and a rare cranial perforator, all hand-forged by a legendary New York instrument maker around 1915. These tools were used in the pioneering days of brain surgery, when pioneers like Harvey Cushing were mapping the human nervous system and turning previously fatal conditions into treatable ones. Their historical weight is immense, representing the birth of modern neurosurgery, the moment medicine dared to operate on the brain with precision instead of guesswork. In collector circles, a verified set like this could easily command tens of thousands of dollars, but for me, the real value was holding proof of how far we've come in saving lives once considered hopeless. I sat back on my heels, staring at the gleaming instruments under my flashlight beam, the weight of a century settling over me. This wasn't just treasure. It was a time capsule of human ingenuity, hidden away in the ruins of a place that once fought death every day. The hospital may have been abandoned, but its story and these tools still had so much to teach. I carefully packed everything away, already imagining the research I'd do to trace their exact journey from factory to operating table to this forgotten corner. Thanks so much for coming along on this wild adventure with me today. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. The surgical scissors, the retractors, the needle holders, or maybe this insane neurosurgery set that blew my mind? I read every single one and loved hearing your thoughts. If you enjoyed this hunt and want to see more abandoned explorations, crazy detector finds, and stories from the past, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and smash the like button if this one gave you chills. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep bringing you these hidden history adventures. See you on the next one. Stay curious out there.